Time now for your forewarned weather with Chief Meteorologist Alana Brophy.
All right, you feel it. It is heating up out there across Utah. Boy,
it's warm out there, Alana.
And it's only going to get warmer, friends. Here we go with that high pressure taking control. We do have some lingering moisture allowing for a few storms out there. I'll show you where. Live view from Logan. Gorgeous shot there. We've got green, but we just heard from Jonathan, and we know we'll be drying out in our valleys. We do have some time, though, especially up in Cache Valley where the temperatures are sitting at 89. It's 92 in Salt Lake, 10 degrees warmer than where we typically are. 80s and 90s on the eastern side of the state. We've hit 100 in St. George, and along the I-15 corridor, we have a mix of 80s and 90s. For the Wasatch Front, we'll see those numbers declining tonight with drier conditions expected for northern Utah as we get through the overnight. By ABC4 News at 10, still mild, upper 70s expected. So if you're stepping out tonight, it's going to be pretty lovely, but you're going to have to wait some time before it is that gorgeous 70 or 80 because the heat, well, it's there and it's going to stay there. My view from Price, where we've been monitoring Castle Country because a few storms have developed in this region. Thunderstorm, gusty winds. We've seen some lightning, clouds on the move. On our Black Desert sky cam here, that time-lapse video just showing how much moisture content is in the southwestern corner of the state, an area that could see a storm. And in the last several hours on satellite radar, you see those storms right there on the state line, but also peppered in to the southern half of Utah. We know Castle Country and towards Duchesne County, we've also seen those storms kind of bringing in a little activity. Right now on the forewarned radar, starting to taper off there in southern Utah. It's spotty, but the potential's there. Starting to see things quiet over US 6 as you head into Helper. Sunnyside saw some lightning. Duchesne County still has some returns on the radar there, and then over the Uintas. So we look at our high temperature trend. The warmth that we're seeing today, well, it wants to stick around in northern Utah as we stay above that average of 82. We're also going to stay above average in southern Utah. 95 is the average high in St. George, but we don't get close to that for the next several days. We also keep moisture in the forecast for our Tuesday. General thunderstorm threat for a bulk of the Beehive State here. Not expecting severe storms, but we do upgrade that threat as we head into the midweek. Darker green from Cache Valley through Utah County is a marginal risk, meaning we could see isolated severe storms. Biggest threat, though, with this marginal risk right now, strong winds. We could get some very gusty outflow winds from these storms as they develop. That lends itself to fire danger, so critical fire danger could be in the cards later this week, especially with the southwesterly flow picking up. Futurecast shows quiet conditions overnight. Where we have lingering moisture, the mountains. And for our Tuesday, we'll see a few storms bubble up with the help of the heat of the day as we roll into tomorrow evening and overnight. Iron County stays pretty active, and we could see an isolated storm sneaking through central Utah. But here we are into Wednesday, aligning with that marginal risk that I just showed you from Cache Valley into Salt Lake County. That's where we anticipate. That's a pretty well-defined front that drapes itself into Duchesne County moving through. That weak disturbance Wednesday paired with the heat of the day and the front coming through will provide some lift so we could see some storms. By Thursday and Friday, we're drying out, but we're also heating up, notably above average. Flash flood risk for tomorrow possible in a few locations, including Capitol Reef, where they had warnings last week, Bryce Canyon, Natural Bridges, Zion, so plan accordingly. Upper level Futurecast shows what's going on. So we've got the temperature trend. It's rising. We've got the heat. Here we are this time of year, and that acts as a storm block. So we're going to stay dry, and those temperatures are going to be noticeably above average, running at least 5 to 10 degrees above seasonal norms. Triple digits, they're in St. George today, and that actually will stick around when it comes to the theme for southern Utah temps in St. George for the next 7 days. 90s for tomorrow, 96 in Moab, 102 in St. George for tomorrow. Next 7, as I mentioned, back to back with the heat. The winds will increase in the south Wednesday and Thursday. As a result, with that southwesterly flow, fire danger does rise, becomes a little critical, so we could see some critical fire warnings in central and southern Utah. Wasatch Front brings the threat of a storm into the midweek, slight chance into Thursday with lingering moisture, and then that high pressure takes over. I go a little warmer than guidance. I think the potential is there, especially with that ridge, depending on when and how it centers up over Utah. It's going to be hot. And you know what? We really wanted that in March when we were dealing with
Remember,
snow.
we were asking for
We
that.
were complaining about it a few months ago being too cool.
So I will hear no complaints until July.